You you are the way. You are the way. You must live life to be the way. And you are in a super sensitive society where your respect and dignity depends on what you do or what you contribute. Your doing and your contribution says a lot about you. You should always be relaxed with the philosophical wise words from a thoughtful mind, creative new realities, and the power of proximity or proximity as a force of attraction. All these are ways of thinking. These are ways of thinking. You shall seek to make yourself to be the way. Humans without being the way, you don't live a life of prominence. Right? You don't. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of being. The cruelty of the heart is what dies with an unrepentant person. Say it again. The cruelty of the heart is what dies with an unrepentant person. Artificial intelligence has come to improve the lives of humans, whether they like it or not. How quicker humans adapt to artificial intelligence, the better for their futures and civilization. It's a way of thinking, and it becomes a way of being. The human being shall seek to be the way. And to be the way, you must be careful with hate. Hate is an addiction. Don't fall for it. Do not fall for the addictions of hate. And you must believe in America if you want to be the way. As an American, we must believe in our great country if we want to be the way. I always remember that America is not you until you contribute to America. The new patriotism is making yourself positively productive as an American. You remember that sentences stand in themselves in their own context. So the sentences you make should stand in themselves in their own context. Your sentences should be reasonable, should be mindful, should be inspirational, should be motivational, and should be blended with common sense and reason. You should be passionate for your saying and proactive in your doings. And when you do talk, you don't talk to make people talk, especially if it leads to negativities. It's not a good thing. We must We must think in a way that makes us to become the way. We must think in a way that makes us to become the way. And you start to teach a child as a kid to be the way. And what to teach a child? Teach that child work, responsibility, and leadership. What not to teach a child is laziness, entitlement, and victimhood. What to instill in the child is character, selflessness, and endeavor. What to give a child is a gift of wisdom, common sense, and street smart. For I say today, my friend, the fruit soon becomes the tree, and so is a child. What is the evolutionary expectation of a parent towards a child? That evolutionary expectation of a parent towards a child is A, giving birth to a child, B, raising the child, and C, training the child. And when this triangulation of obligation is fulfilled, then that child can be introduced to the world to be itself. In short, the obligation to a child is educating that child for knowledge and infusing into that child experience for work and training the child with the skills or talent for extraordinariness and exceptionality. For as a human being, you are born to stand apart, to stand out. Fitting in is a choice. It's better to be ahead than behind. The things to do, the things to do, the things to create or start or contribute or participate in is that which gives the most impact or makes the most great, makes the greatest indelible difference in your lives and the lives of others. And when you do these things give you the longevity, infinity happiness, and the fulfillment that things indeed calls upon thee to be better in your doings. You must live a life of purpose and meaningfulness if you want to drive life further. Life is always for thee to make better, to be remembered, not to be forgotten. When things should pass through you, it means you are important. And when things stops at you unresolved, it means you are not important. Don't let the buck stops at you if you are not to accept responsibility and seek solutions. Some humans are quick to point fingers on others and refuse to accept responsibility. Things can always go right if people want things to go right. It's called due diligence. It's a way of thinking. You cannot hold hate, anger, and envy and be the right person to call or the right person to talk with, or the right person to walk with, or live with. It's a way of thinking, and it becomes a way of being. Always remember that an idea in itself is a version of reality that should be made real. An idea in itself is a version of reality that should be made real. Everybody or every creature originated from the mistakes of something. Everybody or every creature originated from the mistakes of something. That which becomes the thing itself started from something that wasn't the thing itself, but an atom of that thing that became the thing itself. That which we come from cannot be that which we are. It must be something different from what we are. But it's something to which we have that gene code. That gene code in itself might be so microscopic that it might need nanotechnology to decipher. The beginning of things, the genesis of things in itself, ends up not being that thing in its entirety, but something within that gene that has been exponentiated to be the thing itself. For the thing to be the way, the thing must seek to be that which sets it apart. But that thing must learn from everything else in order to be itself. And to be the way, therefore, that thing must read and learn the ways and enlightenment and wisdoms of the living, of the past and present. And that thing must therefore take that knowledge into the future to create something of itself, to distinguish itself from the rest, and to be that new light, that new shine, that new frontier, that thing that stands tall, that thing that is in everything that is good, that thing that prevents everything that is bad, and that thing that has come to imprint itself, not to impose itself, that thing that becomes something like water, that might be in everything, but sometimes cannot be seen in the thing in themselves. To be that way is to be that thing that everybody needs. To be the thing that people might hate but need. To be the thing that people despise but want, but wants. To be the thing that doesn't want to be seen but is felt. To be that sun that shines, the heat that humans need to live with. To be the snow that curls, but that humans need to live with. To be the fruit and to be the seed that no matter how bitter or no matter how disgusting, humans cannot live without. To be the way is to implant yourself in everything that turns out to be good. To be the way is to see this life differently. To live a life of meaningfulness, purposefulness, and contribution. To be able to sacrifice thyself for the sake of good. To be able to work hard and harder. Constantly to be able to push the envelope. To always be the first to see that which the future needs. And imprint thyself into that future that people come to realize. To always be the one to start the great new thing. To innovate the thing that becomes the thing. to create the thing that becomes the thing, to become that thing that doesn't follow but lead, that doesn't seek to please, but seek to be right, that doesn't seek validation, but seek to fine-tune itself, to be that necessity, to be that thing, like the sun that shines everywhere, like the sun that everybody needs. You're born to be the way. You're born to be the way. And to be that way, your character must be refined. Your mannerism must be fine-tuned. And your attitude must be tamed. To be that way, you must see people as ideas, not as human phenoms of biological makeup. You must get past. You must get past through the limitations of humans. You must get past through the pettiness of being. You must get past through the pettiness of being into the mega norum, the castle of things. For you have come to be the thing itself. For you are the genesis of being. You are the way. You are the light. You are the hope. You have come to be the way. You must see yourself above the fray. You must not seek conflict when there is none. You must not live your life to gossip, to talk too much about the flesh, not about the deeds. You must not find yourself into the little negative things of life. You must not self-entrapped. You must be mindful of addictions and consumptions. You must be mindful of idleness, laziness, entitlements, and victimhood. To be the way, it must be that proximity to things. It must be the thing that people are attracted to, not the thing that people repel or refrain from. It must be the thing that people want to talk to. It must be the ears and the eyes and the feelings. It must be that thing that is in the thing itself, even without the thing noticing that it is in it. You must be willing to forgive, to let go, to move on, and to move forward, and to move on big, and to build. You must be able to do good for good itself, not to seek appreciation. You must seek to do the things well, to be the best at what you do. That when you touch something, it moves on better. To be the way and the thing, you must be open-minded, open-hearted, and open-handed, with projection, perception, and perspective. You must be quick to see things for what they are, able to see through things, to go through things, and to be unstoppable. You must not be your own greatest enemy or your own worst obstacle. You must be malleable in things. You must get through things and see your side and see yourself the other way. You must get into the hearts of humans and bless it. You must get into the minds of humans and inspire it. You must get into the souls of humans and enlighten it. You must get on the bodies of humans and clean it. You must live in the ecologies of humans to make it sustainable. And you must be able to get into the future of things and not to seek the future, but to think about the future of the future, not to think about the thing, but to think about the thing that without the thing, that thing is not there. And when you solve problems, you think about the one thing that if taken away, things fall apart, and if put back, things become what they become. But now we ask thee, for example, that what is it that is the most essential in the life of a human? The most important thing within the thing becomes the thing that makes the thing itself. And that if you put that thing in itself, everything falls apart. I'll ask the question sometime. What is it that is the most important in the life of a child? Is it the parents coming together? Is it the copulation? Is it the conception? Is it the mother that bears the baby in the womb? Is it the doctor that delivers the baby? Is it the system and the hospital that allows that baby to be delivered? Is it the science or the technology? Or the janitor that cleaned the room? Or the nurse aide that fixed the shade? Or the electrician? Or the engineer with the lights? Or the architect that built the building? Or is it the driver that drove the car or the maker of the car? You can expatiate to say, what is it that is the thing? And without that thing, a child will not be. Is it the birth, the nurturing, the raising, the training of the child? Or is it the child itself that pushes itself out of the womb to be that way? You must exponentiate things in themselves. You must be able to connect the genealogy of things, genetic gene codes of being. You must be able to see that thing that without the thing falls apart. Because if I'm to ask you, what is it that if you take away, the life of a child will not be? It makes you think. It makes you think deep. When you get to see, you see that everything is necessary to make the thing to become what the thing is. Things are what they are. Because everything is itself. And without that thing itself, other things will not be. Everything is as important as everything else. That gives you the triangularism of intelligence. That everything is important. It's a matter of degree and specification, necessity. You get to see that things are interconnected. To be the way, you must be quick to interconnect things first before people do. Things are not in isolation, and nothing is an island. Nothing happened to the thing without the thing itself. And sometimes when people argue and fight over things, it's not what they're fighting and arguing over. It might be something they don't even know. You get to see the connective tissues of things in order to be the way. And when you can see the connective tissues of things, you can equally see the connective ways to solve those problems. You become the peacemaker. You become the solution, not the problem. You see the fix. You see the fix. Always proactive and preemptive to not cause vicarious liability or negative causalities, but to be the solutions of things. Always be willing to contribute. And when you talk, you give wisdom, you give inspiration and motivation. When you talk to enlighten. You become the way. The way does not make itself to become the way. People make you to become the way. Your deeds, your mind, body and soul is sacrificed within the ecology of things to make yourself to be productive, to make your time to mean something, for you to be first to know that your time is your life and your life is your time, that what you do with your time is what you do with your life, and therefore for you to use your time absolutely productive, not to spend every second in your life wastefully, for you to know that the thing that stands in the way of the human being of being the way is wastefulness. Not being able to understand your time makes you live a time of waste, a life of waste. You must know what time is. You must know how fragile that time is. You must know how gifted you are to have that time. You must calculate yourself in nanoseconds. And therefore, there is nothing to spare. But there is always something to do with your time. There's always some good to do. You must make your time to be super productive. That you must be accountable for every milliseconds of your time. Calculate your life in milliseconds, not in seconds, not in minutes, not in hours, not in days, not in weeks, not in months or years or decades, or centuries. Every millisecond of your life should be productive. For if you learn to waste your milliseconds, you will waste the seconds, the minutes, the hour, the days and weeks, and months, and years of your time. You're born to be the way, to be peaceful in heart, to be positive in the mind, and to be blissful in the soul. You must be the best at what you do. To be the way is to compete to be the best. In class, you seek to be the first. At work, you want to be the most productive. In friendship, you want to be the one that people want, that people need. In society, you want to make the most impact and the most contribution. You don't do this thing to prove anything to anybody. You do this thing because you are the way. And you can contribute, you can sacrifice to make the lives of others better. To be the way becomes the thing that makes you to be indelible. It becomes the thing that makes you to be remembered, not forgotten. It becomes the thing that makes you to be larger than life. To see humans for themselves. That humans have sin. That humans are fragile. That humans are frail. That humans are sometimes good and sometimes bad. That humans sometimes don't even know themselves. To be the way, you find it deep in your heart to forgive humans for what they do. For sometimes they don't know what they are doing. You see humans as something to fix, something to help. You see humans as counterparts, as partners, as a team. You see humans as something to be married to make a spouse of, to make a colleague out of, to make a friend out of. You see humans sometimes as a product, as a sales. You see humans sometimes as the thing you need. For every mind produces something. For every mind can create. And we seek to see the best in humans. And we seek to make the best out of humans. Sometimes to profit out of them. And sometimes to give back. sometimes to walk with them, sometimes to listen to them. Always see fights as differences and conflicts as misunderstanding, and war as a failure of minds coming together. And when you do go to bed, as a person that is aware, you pray for the world, you seek peace within you and yourself, you reflect on your deeds, you meditate on your weaknesses, and be delighted with your strengths. You seek to exponentiate that which is good within you and exponentiate that which is good within others. You are the way. Have no time to hate. Have no time to envy. Have no time to live for the empty futilities of life. For you know your clock of life is ticking. As that clock ticks, you know life is fleeting. And you know you have a fragile body. And you know you have a soul and a mind to enrich. You know, you need to live a life of gratefulness and thankfulness. That every breath is a breath to be thankful for. And to make it manifest that you are thankful for that breath. You make that life to be useful. Your life becomes something that have positive utility value and indelibility value. You live life therefore mindful. There shall one day physically come to an end. And for the infiniteness of things and for the infinitiness of life, you live life knowing that your deeds shall be remembered. Therefore, you are mindful of that. You live life not just being a number, not just becoming that part of a mass, that population that lives not knowing itself, that lives to follow, lives to seek to be like and seek to be validated. You live to be above that. You live up to be above the insecurity of being. You live to be above the insufficiency of being. You live to be above the inadequacy of being, inequity of being, inequality of being, and inferiority of being. You live to be something that is superior to the negativity of things. You live a life of positive causality, not positive causality and positive indelibility, not a life of negative causality, not a life of vicarious liabilities. You live a life not to be a leakage, not to be a liability or a burden. You live a life to contribute. You live a life to participate to the things of life that warrants your attention. You live a life that is creative, innovative, inventive, productive, and positive. You live a life to be neat, clean, and kind, intelligent, and make thyself to be needy. You need a life to be the soul of humanity, to see through people and see what they need, for you to be the shoulder to lean on, to be the firefighter, for you to be the bridge, for you to be that voice to call. You live that life of purpose, driven, utility. You live the life of audaciousness, of sacrifice, of endeavor. That your time matters. That you have come here as a gift to humanity. You live that life of gratitude. A life to be. You become the thing that drives humanity. The thing that takes human to the frontier. You become that new science, that new technology. You become the artificial intelligence. You become the cure to cancer. You become the cure to diseases. You become the one that pioneer new civilizations. You become that philosopher. You become that engineer. You become that philanthropist. You become that person. You become that pastor, that preacher, that father. You become that mother. You become the thing itself. You become the breast milk. You become the water that humans drink. You become the homes, the shelter, the clothing. You become the thing itself. You make yourself to become the thing itself. The thing that doesn't complain but seek for a fix, a solution to the things. You become the thing that does not create problems they cannot solve. That at least solve the problems that they create. And become something better to solve problems that they didn't create. For you are the way. You become that light. You become that door that opens. You become that thing that everybody needs. You become the thing that is in things themselves. The thing that is in everything. You plant your seed in everything, in every heart, in every mind, in every soul, in every continent, in every person, in everything, every plant, in every essence of being. You are in everything. You become the God of things, but with humility, not arrogance. You become the thing that doesn't say, I was there, but the thing that becomes felt. You become the thing that gives, not to be given in return. You become the hand that heals, that thing that can make the blind to see, that can cure incurable diseases, that can bring peace when there is none, that thing that becomes the infrastructural development of the people, that thing that creates jobs, that thing that fine-tunes itself to be the minds of humans, to be the soul of dates. You are the way. You're born to be the way, to be the thing that say, yeah, I can be the sacrificial lamb for the sake of God. But that selflessness of being, that selflessness of being should not be taken for granted. If you are the way, how can you be poor? If you are the way, how can you be sad? If you are the way, how can you be angry? How can you be of rage? How can you be of bitterness? How can you be the thing that can be oppressed, can be suppressed, and can be depressed? If you are the way, how can you be hateful? How can you be cruel? How can you be inhumane? If you are the way, how can you be apathetic? How can you be narcissistic? If you are the way, how can you be lack of compassion and empathy and sympathy? If you are the way, how can you not care for the little ones or feel the plight of those in need? If you are the way, how can you not come to the rescue? How can you have everything for yourself and nothing for others? If you are the way, why the gluttony? Why the excess when others are in need? If you are the way, why are you in darkness? Why are you corrupt? If you are the way, why are you wasteful? Why are you not sustainable? If you are the way, why are you not at peace? If you are the way, why can you be guilty of discrimination? If you are the way, why are you the racist? If you are the way, why are you the sexist? If you are the way, why are you a bigot? You must be the way. If you are the way, why the insecurity? If you are the way, why don't you love yourself or like yourself and see yourself in the mirror? I say, I'm myself. I like what I see. I like what I've become. I'm proud to be me. If you are the way, why the feeling of insufficiency, inadequacy, insecurity, inadequacy, inequality, inferiority? If you are the way, why must you seek to be liked? Why must you seek to please others? Why must you seek to be validated? If you are the way, why the emptiness? Why the empty futility? You are the way. You have come here to be remembered and to be forgotten. You have come here with the infinitiness of mind and the infinitiness of being, that you live to live again. For you are the way. Find within you to know that you are the way. To make you live a life of purpose. For most humans live in emptiness. The eyes of most humans are blurred. The hearts of most humans are empty. The minds of most humans are full with delusions and blurriness of vision. Don't make thyself to be weak. Don't make thyself to be lazy. Don't make thyself to be dependent. Don't make thyself to be a coward. Make thyself to be independent. Make thyself to be sufficient. Make thyself to be free. Free in thy mind, free in thy body, free in thy soul, and free in thy space and ecology. Make thyself to be free of entrapments and entanglements. Make thyself to be the thing that works. Make thyself to be the thing itself. That the being of your being is the being itself and nothing else. That which you have come to be, nobody can be but you. For you are the way. That thing with intrinsic individuality. That you are that seed. That seed that's different from any other seed. That seed that's most valuable. That new thing. That new enlightenment. That new philosophy. That new religion. That new science. That new innovation. That new invention. That new genius. That Genesis mind. That authentic IP mind. that genius mind. And you are the thing itself that must be proud of itself. You must be that thing that must not be let down by itself. That must not feel that it doesn't matter. You must not be the thing that self-doubt. You must be the thing that believes in yourself, that you are just one you. You must not be the thing that seeks to copy from others. You must not be the thing that doesn't want to be itself. You must not be the thing that hate itself. You must not be that thing that self-defecate. You must not be that thing that self-infuriate. You must not be that thing that accepts to be called a minority or something that is less. Because you are the way. You are the thing itself. You must believe in your weaknesses and seek to make yourself better. You must know that beauty is relative. Doesn't matter your height, your race, your color, the way you look. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your weight. It doesn't matter anything. That which matters is you, that you are here, another phenome, a gene code, a seed of nature with a gene of infinity. You're here to be. You're here to be somebody. You're here to be remembered. You're here to do everything to imprint yourself on this planet Earth. You're born not to be forgotten. You are the way. Or make yourself the way. For when you see yourself as the way, you see yourself as a healer, as a thing that brings peace. You become the enlightenment to others. You become the motivation, the inspiration. You become the educator or the education. You become the thing that listens, the things that grow, the things that update, the thing that refines itself and enhances itself to be the thing that everybody needs. You are the way. Be the way. Be the one that leads, the one that is first, the one that is the best of the best. For there is that in you, something that you are good at, and that which you are good at has no competition, for that is your way. If you are your way, there is no competition, because you become the thing that everybody wants. It becomes the wealth within and the wealth without. The internalities of the being become its externalities, and the externalities of the being becomes its internalities. There must be that union between the inside and the outside. There must be that understanding, that amicability, that reciprocity, that give and take. The being that is willing to work with others, not just to impose on others. That being that can listen, that can contribute, that can equally take the ideas of others to make better. It must not be your way. You are the way. And when you are the way, you don't impose yourself on others. You imprint. When you are the way, you don't go to war to be the way. When you are the way, you don't enslave people to be the way. When you are the way, you don't imprison people to be the way. When you are the way, you don't discriminate upon people and dehumanize and demean people or demonize people to be the way. When you are the way, you don't fight to be that way. When you are the way, you are the way. Like the sun, like the rain, like the seasons, like nature, like the universe, like the air you breathe, like the cosmos, like the water you drink. You are the way. Then you become the thing that everybody needs. You become the thing that people can criticize, that people can gossip against, that people can make fun of. It doesn't matter, because they cannot take away from you, because you are the way. When you are the way, you are not that fragile. You are not that thin skin. You're quick to forgive. You're quick to let go. You're quick to move on and move on and move forward. For there is much to life than dying and living for nothing. When you are the way, you don't die. When you are the way, you're indelible. Because you have done indelible deeds. You have contributed to this planet to the extent that people can never forget you. You have added something to the human phenome that cannot be taken away. Be that way. Be that light. Be that hope. And be that faith to humanity. Be the way. Philosopher Prince. AI Intelligences Philosopher. Prince Zaar. Las Vegas. February 11, 2025. That the human being is the way. Every human being is the way. That every human being has come here to contribute something. And that contribution that the human being has come here to give is that which makes the human being to be the way. That contribution shall never be forgotten if that contribution is made indelible. Thank you.